Hi there, welcome back to my channel, Uniquely Reagan Handcrafted Cards. I'm going to be playing with my stamp and die set and card kit from Stamps of Life for January 2026. It was called Puffin Love and From All of Us collection. So I've got all my supplies out here and gonna be using a couple different die sets and playing with a lot of different kinds of products today out of my stash, but primarily using these cute little birds, these cute little puffins here, and the card kit collection from Stamps of Life, and these tape runners. I've almost got this one used up. I made 6 different cards, and I think I can make 2 or 3 more, maybe 4. Let's see if I can get 4 more made out of this, and then if I need to, I'll move on to this different tape runner here. So I've got a couple of card bases. Let's start with one right here, and I have some tri backgrounds here from Stamps of Life. And if you haven't played with these before, what these do is it cuts out a variety of different backgrounds, and you can mix and match. And so right now I cut out some blue paper to act as the sky here, and this little swirl background, which I'm going to call our snowy sky instead of a sun ray background. And so we need this little cloud background here. Let me get a pokey tool. And I'll probably cut that again with white so I can get the clouds, because I'm going to keep that, and then I'm going to cut it again with the white so I can get the clouds. And then I have the ground, which I'm going to highlight those little tufts of grass. That's going to be our snowy hill, and I need to just highlight those pieces of grass because we have kind of a snowy hill. And then these little bits are kind of discards over here. So I'm going to hang on to these blue clouds. I can use those in another project. And these little bits, I'm going to hang on to this because I can use that in a different project. And these little things are all discard. And I'll put I'm going to use that. I would need to cut the clouds again. We could put that away. And so let me get the clouds cut out. And I don't need to cut that whole thing. I just need to get the clouds. So we don't really even have to cut. We can be really strategic. I'll be right back. Okay. So I've got my clouds here. And then I'll just discard this little piece. There's all my clouds. And I'll put this back in the pocket. I'm going to start putting this card together. I'm going to color or highlight these tufts of grass here with a green marker from Spectrum Noir. And then I'm also going to later highlight those swirls with a glitter shimmer pen. And I'm next going to take my sky ink from Stamps of Life and just highlight or go over and do some ink blending on my blue ink from the sky, and just kind of go over the blue areas and give it just a little bit of ink blending just to highlight those swirls and the areas of the cloud. And then I'm just going to clean up my glassboard studio mat, and I'm going to also just highlight my snowy hill with a gray Spectrum Noir marker. Before I start adhering this cardstock down onto the card base, I'm going to test out my card panel against some cardstock and see if it looks good. But then I think I'll just stick to the white card base. Let me tell you about the TapeRunner product. TapeRunner is the #1 preferred brand on Amazon. They've been in business for over 40 years, and they are the #1 tape, double-sided tape on the market. It's a very strong double-sided adhesive, and you can use it on a variety of projects like scrapbooking, use it for planners and card making and all kinds of other projects. I really like it for my card making, and I've been using it for several months now, and I have really enjoyed it. It's really strong, it's long lasting, and you can just go back to it for any type of project. It's really important that you use long strokes, that you use it at a right angle, and then that you use a kind of a cutoff point when you are pulling away from the tape so that you have a cutoff point. I'll leave my affiliate code for TapeRunner.com in the description box below. That's Reagan10. Now let's get these puffins cut out with the dies. Well, I've got all my puffin and everything cut out, and that will get me through several cards. And let me get one of the puffins adhered down to the bottom of this card. I'm going to put some shimmer on the clouds, some of these little snowy swirls, and then I'm going to get a sentiment and stamp it down onto some cardstock, and then I'll get that cut out. And I'm actually going to stamp out 2 sentiments, one for a later card, and then I'm going to use the smaller hello there, or happy hello I think it says, and I'm going to use that happy hello on this card. I'm going to cut these sentiments out, and that happy hello I'm going to use down on that bottom left side of this card after I get it cut out and layered up on the teal or ocean colored cardstock from Stamps of Life. So let me just put some TapeRunner product on that, and I'll get that adhered down. So that turned out a really cute card. So just clean up the desk space just a little bit, put those clouds away. I'll use them on a later card. And I just saw that I only had a little tiny bit of the TapeRunner in the pink cartridge left, just enough to get me through one stroke or so of the next card. I'm going to put a bit of a gray shadow under the puffin on this card. Moving on to our second card, I have the stamp set from Stamps of Life. It's got some pelicans in it. It also came in a collection or bundle set with a card front that has a set of pilings, beach or lake scene, and a palm tree. So I'm going to do some paper piecing on this, and I'm getting out some scraps, and I'm going to kind of piece some things together on this beach scene here, or kind of lake scene, and get enough pieces of scraps out to piece everything together. And I'm headed to the die cutting machine. While I paper piece this together, I'm going to set you to some music. I'm going to paper piece my palm tree and all of this together. I'll do some ink blending and get my scene together, and then put my card together.
In every moment, my love will be tempted, concealed and forever always, every moment. Even in the face of greatest charm, my thoughts will be all yours, my motto one. And when the search comes at the end of the road, be it death, be it loneliness, I'll be your abode. I'd say of the love we once knew, that it's not immortal, but a flame that grew. For the love we shared so intense and true. Doesn't need to be eternal to be fruitful too. In memory and heart, it'll forever glow, like a flame that burns, an eternal show. In every moment, my love I'll be attentive, with still and forever always, every moment. Even in the face of greatest charm, my thoughts will be all yours, my motto. And when the search comes at the end of the road, be it death, be it loneliness, I'll be your abode. I'd say of the love we once knew, that it's not immortal, but a flame that grew. For the love we shared, so intense and true, doesn't need to be eternal to be fruitful too. In memory and heart, it'll forever glow, like a flame that burns, an eternal show. In every moment, my love I'll be attentive, with still and forever always, every moment. Even in the face of the greatest charm, my thoughts will be all yours, my motto. And when the search comes at the end of the road, be it death, be it loneliness, I'll be your abode. I'd say of the love we once knew, that it's not immortal, but a flame that grew. For the love we shared, so intense and true, doesn't need to be eternal to be fruitful too. In memory and heart, it'll forever glow, like a flame that burns, an eternal show.
You might have noticed that I just put the sky on above the water upside down, and I had to take it up. But it has given me an opportunity to use the outline of the palm trees as a placeholder to put the palm tree itself in, and then take that out, and I've got the palm tree leaves where they go. So I went back to the die cutting machine and I had to recut the sky in another color, and I didn't have a scrap piece large enough, so I just cut that sky in a piece of color that I had just laying on my desk. So I've cut it out, and I'm blending that sky again, and now I'm going to tape it down in the right position, and I'm going to get this piece that's right next to the tree in the right place. I had to pull up that leaf and just get that piece in the right place. I'm using the TapeRunner product, and just going to get that sky in the right place. And now I'm using the dot runner tape runner on the piling. And the reason I'm using the dot runner on this piece is because some of these pieces are kind of pulling away from one another, and using the dot runner on this section will allow me to make sure that I don't have tape runner all over the place, and it's only going to stick on the paper and in places where the paper is, and it's not going to go where I don't want it to go, basically. So that's really important here. So I'm just going to add some extra walnut stain from the Distress ink and add some of that to those pilings. And I've got a pelican. I'm adding it over as if it's flying in from the right above that palm tree, and going to add one of my puffins here in front of that piling, and he's going to be holding that net. And I'm going to just fiddle around with that for a few minutes. And so I'm just going to add one of that fish bucket, and then add a couple of fish as if they're hopping out of the water, and just play around with that placement for a few minutes and then start adhering everything down with the TapeRunner product once I've got those where I want them. And then I decide that I need something in the sky to fill out some of that blank area. And I go back to those blue clouds that I had from the other card, and I place a couple of those down. And then I see something kind of sticking up under that palm tree, and so I get some TapeRunner and adhere those down. I added some shimmer to the waves here in the sea, and I don't know if you can see that. I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to that and just finish off that card before I moved on to the next. I am going to I'm going to make 2 or 3 more cards here. I'm going to grab a couple sheets of paper from the collection pad here from the All of Us collection. I'm going to probably grab 3 pieces of paper just so I have a variety here. Probably grab this piece of paper. It's really cute. And then I have a couple pieces of paper here. And then I'm going to grab something that's a little bit different here. Let's see. I grabbed this piece of paper. I like the circles, the purple circles. That's really nice together, those 2 pieces. And let me grab one more. Let's see what else is here. I like this dark color. And then I have kind of a variety. Let me see what I have to work with here. And then I did use up that full dispenser of TapeRunner. So I've been crafting since kind of mid-November with TapeRunner, and this is the first one that I've gone through all the way. And I'm going to get my trimmer out, and I'm going to cut a couple of pieces here. Stamps of Life uses 6.5 by 6 inch pieces of paper. I'm going to trim this down to 6 inches here. Let's see. Actually 5.25. I'm going to trim that down to 5.25. Then I can use that piece of paper to do something with. I'm going to trim this piece down to 2 inches. And let's see. Then this one will be 4 by 5.25. And I can use that as a layering panel on another card. And so I will do that again. Trim that down to 5.25. And then we'll do 2 inches. And so we've got those 2 pieces, and then we'll see. Let's see. Let's trim this to 3 inches here. And then we've got 2 cards. This is based on kind of a Jess Crafts sketch. Her layering piece here is 1.5 inches, and we basically only have about 1.25 inches, but we can find a layering mat piece that we can boost this piece up here. We can get 2 cards out of those 2 pieces right there. So let me find some purple cardstock. This was Jess Crafts, her 12 by 12 paper busting A2 sketch number 30. In the card kit came a Merlot color cardstock, so we can use a layering panel like that, or there was a Pixie color cardstock. I like that layering panel in the Merlot color, and so I might back that. This Pixie color is very light, So let me cut the layering panels for these pieces here. I don't really need to do that larger piece in these pieces. Let me just cut layering panels for these smaller pieces right here. And I'll make a different card for this other piece here. I might pull out a different piece of cardstock to go with it. So let me do this. This was 2 inches by 5 1/4. And then that was 1 1/4 by 3. I'm going to start adhering these card panels together, and I'm going to put it together just like in the card sketch. It's very easy to do. The first thing I'm going to do is layer these together and put these panels against the layering pieces, and then just make sure that I've got these layering panels, and I noticed that I've got just a little bit of overhang on the pieces where the circles are, and then put the backing panel on the card base itself, and the shorter 1.5 piece, or the 1 1/4, I want to make sure there's no sagging on this piece, so I'm just adding a little bit of cardstock in a double layer on this section. So you can see that in that bright pink cardstock color. And then I'm going to duplicate that on the second card. Just do that very same thing. And then after I get all of these pieces adhered to the cardstock, then I'm going to decorate it and do the same thing on the second card. Just decorate those pieces with some of the stickers and that ephemera from the card kit. And I did run out of TapeRunner on my second cartridge, and I used a sticker from the card kit collection and that sentiment that I had stamped earlier in the video. And so I've got out a new TapeRunner from my value pack. And since these do come in a value pack, it's very cost effective to just buy it in a value pack. And so that's a really great value. I'm looking at my sentiments again, and then I go back to the sentiment bin. I had stamped a whole bunch of sentiments for an upcoming project. We're doing an event on March 2nd for Cards for Cubs. I'll put some information in the description box for you about that event on March 2nd. It's a 12-hour event, and I had already pre-stamped a lot of sentiments for that card event, and so I'm going to go ahead and use one of those pre-stamped sentiments for that card. It says "Just a Note," and then I'm going to move on to my last and final card here, and I've pulled out this additional paper cardstock here. It's got all these fish on it, and on the other side it's got another pattern paper here, and the other pattern is that random dot. And I'm going to go back to my card kits, and I've got this rounded center step-up card, and I've got all the layering pieces for that, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of the pieces for that card. And I'm pulling out this teal or ocean colored cardstock for that card base, and I die cut all of the pieces for that. And this is a really fun card base. And the next thing I'm going to do is decide what kind of layering panels I'm going to cut for the front and the back of this card. And I decide to cut the fish on the front and then the dancing or random dots on the back. So I'm headed back to the die cutting machine to cut those pieces out. I'll be right back. I'm back from the die cutting machine, and I've cut out all of the layering pieces for my card. And then I'm going to decide how I want to lay out these things on my card. And I've got the random dots on the front, and then I want to decide, do I want to put either the happy birthday sentiment on the front against the fish card panel, or do I want to put the dancing or random dots on the back? And I do like the random dots on the back rather than the green cardstock. So I go ahead and adhere that down, and then I turn the fish paper over, and it's got kind of like a chain link fence paper on the back side of that. And I decide I like that against that ocean teal colored cardstock. And then I go ahead and take the fish paper back to the die cutting machine, and I cut those layering panels that's kind of behind that arch center step up, and cut the fish panels out. And then I decide that I do want to make this a happy birthday card, and I'm gonna find a dark piece of blue paper here. With the help of some double-sided adhesive sheets, I'm using this dark blue paper as a sticker. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the Arch Happy Birthday die and create a little sticker. And then I'll cut out the light blue paper that's on the upper left side and create an arch panel to go behind that dark blue happy birthday sentiment, and adhere both of those down to my center step up card. This card's going to come together very quickly once I've got this punched out here. And so everything's going to go together onto the card rather quickly.
Under stars we ride tonight. City lights so bright, alright. Windows down, we feel the breeze. Heartbeats fast, we're free with ease. Radio plays our favorite song. We sing loud, we sing along. No maps, just the open road. Together sharing stories told. Midnight drive, we come alive. Cruising roads, we feel the vibe. Every month, just you and me. Chasing dreams beneath the tree. Street signs blurring on our rear view. In the sky, the darkest blue. Laughing loud without a care. You and me, the perfect pair. Headlights shining just for us. World belongs to us, no fuss. Moonlit skies, we're hand in hand. Wanderlust, we understand. Midnight drive, we come alive. Cruising roads, we feel the vibe.
The first card I made for you was this Happy Hello card, and it's got some pretty clouds in this background. It's got some little snow swirls that's got some sparklies on it, and then I got some grass peeking through that little snow hill on the bottom, and our little Puffin standing there, and he's enjoying that wintry snow and the sun and the wintry sky. We made this little beach lake scene, and I'm going to put a sentiment on the inside that says, "You're Puffin amazing," I think. Just stamp that on the inside to finish that card off. And I did put some little sparkly bits on those waves in the water. And these little fish are popping out of the water, and he looks like he's catching them with his little net. And we've got that seagull or a pelican just flying by that palm tree. And I carried over the cutouts from the clouds from this scene over to this card here. And we made 2 cards with this design. And that's really cute. You're Puffin Amazing. We've got a couple stickers here. That's a really cute card. And then this card is a stand-up card. And we've decorated the front and the back. We've used some of that pattern paper from the collection pad. I found some stickers or some star cutouts from my stash, and I used one of those stickers to decorate the front. And it's a birthday card. And one of those little fish is on the inside, and that's a little stand-up card. So we used a variety of tapes from TapeRunner product. I did finish off 2 of the TapeRunner products that I've been using since November. This one I had made 8 cards with this TapeRunner. I'd used several to make Valentine cards, and I finished off 2 additional cards. I'm an over-adheser, so I'm very, very, very generous with my adhesion. So it might last you a little bit longer than me. I know one of the other design team members, she had made more than 12 cards with her TapeRunner. So you could get anywhere between 8 to 12 or more cards, depending on how much tape you use and product you use on your projects. This one I had actually used on several other cards, so depending on how much tape you use, you could get more. This one I just got into to make additional cards, so you saw me break into that. This one is the runner tape. I used it on my project here to make sure I only got tape where I wanted it to, specifically on this piling here, so that I got tape where I wanted it to, where these pieces were kind of falling apart. So that's a great option to get tape where you want it to, that dot runner. So those are the TapeRunner products in use. And yeah, so there's my project for TapeRunner this month, and come back and see me the next time I have a crafty video, and I'll be sharing more TapeRunner projects throughout my time as a design team member. I can't wait to share more with you, and just come back and see me the next time I have a crafty video. We'll see you the next time. Have a great day. Bye.